One meeting, one message from Hollywood, and suddenly, Wrexham found the belief to do what nobody thought possible: beat the league leaders who hadn't lost a single match all season. Alright, Wrexham fans, if you love the Red Dragons like I do, hit that subscribe button right now. Because what I'm about to tell you is why this club is special, why this story is different, why we all fell in love with Wrexham in the first place. Saturday afternoon at the racecourse ground. Wrexham versus Coventry City. On paper, it looked impossible. Coventry hadn't lost a single match all season. They were top of the championship in every single statistical category. Form, goals scored, defensive record. They were dominating the division. Untouchable, unstoppable. And Wrexham, they'd just been booed off their own pitch midweek after a painful Carabao Cup exit to League One side Cardiff City. The mood was dark. The pressure was mounting on Phil Parkinson. Questions were being asked. Had the rise finally stopped? Had reality caught up with the fairy tale? Then something happened that nobody saw coming. Kiefer Moore scored a hat-trick. Wrexham won 3-2. The league leaders' unbeaten run was over. The racecourse ground erupted. And in the aftermath, co-owner Rob McElhenney released a statement that revealed exactly what had happened behind closed doors before that match. He'd met with Phil Parkinson. He'd spoken to the players. And what he heard, what they told him about the supporters, about the racecourse, about what it means when that crowd is behind them, changed everything. This isn't just about 3 points against Coventry. This is about what happens when Hollywood ownership understands what it really means to be a football club. When owners don't just write checks, they listen. They feel it. They get it. But to understand how massive this moment really is, we need to go back to where this story began. Let's set the scene properly. Wrexham are in the championship for the first time in years after back-to-back promotions from the National League. It's been the story of modern football. Hollywood meets traditional Welsh working-class culture, a Netflix documentary that made the club globally famous, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney turning Wrexham into one of the most watched teams on the planet. But here's what the cameras don't always show. The championship is brutal. It's relentless. It's a graveyard for romantic stories and feel-good narratives. Teams with far bigger budgets than Wrexham have come up from League One and been absolutely destroyed by this division. And for a few weeks there, it looked like Wrexham might be heading that way too. The league form had been inconsistent. 7 points from the last 9 before Coventry sounds decent, but it masks the frustration. Draws that felt like losses. Performances that lacked that edge, that belief, that intensity that got them promoted in the first place. Then came Tuesday night. Cardiff City at the racecourse ground in the Carabao Cup, a proper Welsh derby. The first meeting between these two clubs in over 2 decades. The place should have been bouncing. Instead, it turned into a nightmare. Wrexham lost 2-1. League One opposition coming to the racecourse and winning. But it wasn't just the result, it was how it happened. The performance was flat, lifeless. Phil Parkinson made changes to the starting 11, rotating players ahead of that brutal championship schedule, and it backfired spectacularly. When the final whistle went, something happened that you rarely hear at the racecourse ground. The fans booed. They actually booed their own team off the pitch. That tells you everything about the frustration, the expectation, the pressure that was building. You could see it on Parkinson's face in the post-match interview. This is a man who's managed at every level of English football. He's seen it all. But even he looked rattled. The criticism was immediate. Social media went into meltdown. Phil got it wrong. Too many changes. Disrespectful to Cardiff. This is what happens when you take your eye off the ball. Behind closed doors, you have to imagine the mood in that dressing room was dark. These are professional footballers, but they are also human beings. Getting booed off your own pitch hurts. It plants seeds of doubt. It makes you question yourself. And looming on the horizon, Coventry City. Frank Lampard's Coventry. Unbeaten all season. Top of the league. Flying. Confident. Coming to Wrexham expecting to continue their march toward the Premier League. This was shaping up to be a potential disaster. If Wrexham lost at home again, especially after that Cardiff result, the racecourse could have turned toxic. The doubts could have become a crisis. The season could have started spiraling. But somewhere between Tuesday night's boos and Saturday's kickoff, something shifted. Rob McElhenney, the co-owner who lives thousands of miles away in Los Angeles but watches every single match, who's invested not just money but genuine emotion into this club, decided he needed to have a conversation. He spoke to Phil Parkinson. He spoke to the players, and what they told him about the supporters, about what they need, about what makes the racecourse ground special. That conversation became the spark that changed everything. Saturday afternoon, the racecourse ground. You could feel the tension in the air before kickoff. Would the fans turn? Would the pressure get to the players? Or would something else happen? From the first whistle, something was different. The crowd wasn't subdued. They weren't waiting for something to go wrong so they could vent their frustration. They were loud. They were positive. They were right behind the lads. And Wrexham responded. The football was brave, disciplined without the ball, but attacking with real intent when they had it. Phil Parkinson had clearly demanded a reaction, and the players were delivering. Then Kiefer Moore scored. The racecourse erupted. That sound, if you've never heard the racecourse when it's really going, you can't imagine it. It's not just noise. It's a physical force. It lifts players. It intimidates opponents. It makes things happen. Moore scored again. 2-0. Coventry, the unbeaten league leaders, were being taken apart at the racecourse ground. Coventry pulled one back. The nerves started creeping in. This is where things can fall apart, where doubt can seep back in, where a team that's been struggling for confidence can collapse. But not this time. Moore completed his hat-trick. 3-2. Final score. Wrexham had just beaten the league leaders, ended their unbeaten run, made a statement that they belong in this division. After the match, Phil Parkinson was glowing. Listen to what he said. It's definitely a statement performance and win for us. Not a statement to anyone else, but for ourselves. That's the key phrase right there. For ourselves. This wasn't about showing the rest of the championship what Wrexham can do. This was about the team proving to themselves that they have what it takes. He continued, if you look at Coventry stats, not just the wins, they're at the top of everything. They've got players in a really good vein of form at the moment. There's so many really good performances from unsung heroes tonight, as well as the eye-catching ones. Parkinson was buzzing. You could hear it in his voice. This was the Wrexham he knows his team can be. Disciplined, brave, clinical, relentless. But then came the moment that ties this whole story together. Rob McElhenney released a statement, and it wasn't some corporate PR nonsense. It was real. It was emotional. It was a message that every Wrexham supporter needed to hear. He wrote, having spoken to Phil and a lot of the players, it's abundantly clear that the support they received against Coventry made a massive difference. There it is. The owners actually listening to the manager and players, understanding what they need, and then communicating that back to the fans. McElhenney continued, it's hard to be that loud and positive every game for 90+ minutes over an entire season. But I thought it worth mentioning that when the racecourse is rocking, anything is possible. Think about that for a second. A Hollywood actor who co-owns a Welsh football club is telling the supporters, respectfully, gratefully, that they are the difference. Not the money, not the famous owners, not the Netflix cameras, the fans, the noise, the belief. And then the final line, the one that really hit home. This is your team. We're all invited and honored to be a part of it. Support them in whatever way brings you joy, but know that for sure, you are making a difference in their success. That statement went viral. Wrexham supporters were sharing it everywhere. And you could see in the responses, this is what they needed to hear. Because here's the truth that a lot of people outside Wrexham don't understand. The Hollywood ownership is brilliant, but it also comes with pressure. There's a global spotlight now. Millions of people watching on streaming platforms. Expectations that didn't exist 5 years ago when Wrexham was scrapping around in the National League. Local supporters sometimes feel that pressure more than anyone. They worry about becoming a sideshow. They worry about the Netflix narrative mattering more than the football. They worry about whether their voices still matter when there are millions of new fans around the world. And what Rob McElhenney did with that statement was remind every single person who walks through the turnstiles at the racecourse ground that they matter. That their noise, their passion, their support. It's not just background atmosphere for a TV show. It's the actual lifeblood of the club. The response from Wrexham fans has been overwhelmingly positive. People are saying things like, this is why Rob and Ryan are different. They actually get it. Finally, owners who understand what football really is. This is our club, and they know it. Even the national media picked up on it. This isn't just a nice gesture from a celebrity owner. This is a genuine understanding of football culture, of what makes British football special, of why the racecourse ground on a Saturday afternoon means everything to people in North Wales. Phil Parkinson, in his post-match interview, also gave credit to the supporters. He said, "In fairness to the crowd, they clapped the team off at halftime and you could sense that positivity coming out in the second half. The lads have responded in terrific fashion." That's the partnership right there. Players giving their all, fans backing them through the tough moments, and owners who understand that dynamic and know how to nurture it. So what does all this actually mean for Wrexham's season? Feist, practically speaking, 7 points from the last 9 in the championship is solid. Beating the league leaders at home is a result that shows this team can compete at this level. The doubts that were creeping in after Cardiff? They're gone, replaced by belief. Kiefer Moore's hat-trick was massive, not just for the team, but for him personally. He's the big money signing, the statement signing, the one who's supposed to deliver in these moments. And he absolutely did. But more than the football, this feels like a turning point in the relationship between the club and its supporters. That's what makes it so significant. Look at what Wrexham have been through in the last few years. Financial collapse, administration, nearly going out of business, dropping out of the Football League entirely, spending years in non-league obscurity while rivals like Chester and Tranmere stayed higher up. Then Hollywood arrived. Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. Welcome to Wrexham on Disney+. Global fame. Record crowds. Back-to-back promotions. Championship football. It's been a whirlwind. And through all of that, the one constant has been the supporters. The ones who were there in the dark days. The ones who kept the club alive. The ones who packed the racecourse ground week after week. What McElhenney's statement did was acknowledge that. It reminded everyone, including the players, including Phil Parkinson, including every Wrexham fan watching from around the world, that this success story only works when everyone pulls in the same direction. The Hollywood owners aren't here to turn Wrexham into a franchise. They're here to be custodians of something bigger than themselves. And they know it. At the end of the day, this is what being a Wrexham fan is all about. The highs and the lows. The drama and the hope. The frustration of Tuesday night, followed by the euphoria of Saturday afternoon. This club has been through worse. Much worse. And it's always come back stronger because of the people, the supporters, the players, the staff, who refuse to let it fall. Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds could have bought any club in the world. They chose Wrexham. And moments like this show exactly why. Because when the racecourse is rocking, when the fans and the team are united, when belief replaces doubt, anything really is possible. From Hollywood to the racecourse, this is our story. And it's far from over. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Rob's statement. Did it mean something to you? Hit like if you're backing Wrexham no matter what. Subscribe if you want more stories like this. And I'll see you in the next one. Come on, you Reds.